When we see something visual, we make a choice of where to put our focus, which is how we determine what is the figure and what is the ground. In this photo, if we focus on the glass of wine, it is considered the figure, and Olivia, who is behind the glass, is considered the ground, vice versa. Proximity shows how close together two things are in a space. Assumptions can be made about the two objects or persons based on how close together or far apart they are in a space. It can be assumed that the two people in this image are friends based on how close in proximity they are. Connectedness refers to things that are physically connected. In this image, I am hugging my dog, causing us to be physically linked together. Objects higher in our field of vision are perceived as further away, causing the illusion that taller objects are longer than shorter objects. In this image, number 6 appears to be on higher ground than the other players because she is further away from the camera. Objects grouped together are seen as a whole whether or not they are physically linked or not. This pacifies our minds by creating a quote-unquote whole image. This is a picture of many different buildings not physically linked, but collectively it is a picture of Times Square. Continuity is our perceptual tendency to group things into lines or patterns. In this image, we don't just see a bunch of sailboats, we see a bunch of sailboats lined up. Size constancy refers to our ability to see objects as maintaining the same size, even when our distance from them makes things appear larger or smaller. If we were to look at Ryan standing up rather than lying down with her head closest to the camera as she is, she would appear very improportional. However, because of the size consistency, we do not even think about these improportions when we're looking at the image. Shape constancy is the tendency to perceive an object as having the same shape regardless of its orientation or the angle from which we view it. Although we are looking at Samantha's face from two different angles, causing a shape to change, we would still recognize that it is her face. We tend to group things together that are similar and take things that are similar and cluster them. By doing this, we can convey individual pieces being part of the same greater object. This also makes it easy to identify an object that doesn't belong. In this image, we notice the single yellow pumpkin more so than any of the others because it is a different color. Linear perspective gives us an illusion of depth and perspective. Based on this, we can tell approximately how far or close an object is. In this image, I know, because of linear perspective, that the dock is right in front of me and that the end of the dock and the boats are in the distance. If two objects are roughly the same size, the object that looks the largest will be judged as being closest to the observer. In this image, although each panel of wood making up the bridge is the same size, the one that appears the largest are registered as being the closest to us. Interposition gives us some idea of how close or far something is from us based on how visual information is stacked in our retinal field. Because of interposition, I know that this lady and her abnormally large dog are much closer to me than the people in the background. Our tendency to perceive a visual object as having the same brightness under widely different conditions of illumination. These are two pictures of the same scene. We can tell that they are the same picture regardless of the fact that their lighting is different.